Jai Hind everyone. My name is Dr. Neetu Sharma, Assistant Professor from Applied Sciences and Humanities. Subject name Soft Skills and subject code is BS 105. The unit which we are going to cover today is reading and writing skills, and the topic which I am going to cover in this unit is effective writing tools and methods. So obviously this unit is based on basically two topics, that is reading and writing. So if you want to get command over a language, then you need to be proficient in all the skills of a language, that is reading, writing, speaking and listening. Earlier we have focused on reading skills. So reading skills is actually a receptive skill. You need to first absorb what you have read, so obviously it helps you to gain knowledge, and reading skills help you to get knowledge and keep you also update with the surroundings, what is happening all around you. So we have learned so far in this unit that what are 4 types of reading methods, that is scanning, skimming, churning and assimilation. So how can you develop your reading skills and what are these levels? So we have gone through it. Now we are going to discuss today writing skills, and that is a productive skill, right? So you need to work on it, especially you need to work hard, because this is a productive skill. So it's your art, it's your creativity, that how are you going to draft a document or message. So how we develop ideas through writing, let's discuss all of them one by one. So before actually understanding or before moving ahead, I want to ask one question first, that can you trace the most important line in this paragraph? Different people spend their holidays in different ways. Some like to travel to nice places. Some prefer staying home and watching movies. Still, there are some who make a get-together with their relatives. So I think if you go through this paragraph, then it's easy to trace the most important line in this paragraph, that is how people spend their holidays. So the most important line is that different people spend their holidays in different ways, and this I have mentioned in the beginning in this paragraph. Now let's read the next paragraph. Again, you need to find the most important line in this. Distance education lets you to have a degree while you are doing a job. It is also good for poor students who do not have good colleges nearby and cannot afford to go to another city to study. Clearly, distance learning is a strong alternative to college education. So we try to find out the most important line in this. Then obviously it's talking about distance education, that is a key word, and it's talking about the benefits of distance education in the whole paragraph. So I think it's easy to trace the most important line in this paragraph. The distance learning is a strong alternative to college education, and this I have mentioned at the end of the paragraph. So now let's understand what is a paragraph. As you have seen the two examples earlier which I mentioned earlier in earlier slides, that how and what kind of, how the idea is developed in a paragraph. So if you see the features or the most common things which you find in these paragraphs, they are lines. There's one topic sentence. So it means that a paragraph is a group of sentences which has only one main idea. So the sentences, if you find in this paragraph, they are all connected to each other. So in a paragraph, all the sentences are connected to each other. There is one important line in a paragraph, which is actually the topic sentence. So clearly, a paragraph contains one single idea or one main topic in the paragraph, and this line could either be at the beginning or at the end of the paragraph. And if we talk about supporting information, so as I have already mentioned, that a paragraph is what? Paragraph is a group of sentences that convey one single idea or that has one main idea. So what is the work of the other sentences? So the other sentences, they give support or they give adequate development. They develop the main idea. So they provide supporting information for the main idea. So the other sentences, they are actually called supporting sentences. Okay, so obviously a paragraph is a part of a longer composition because we actually convey only one single idea in a paragraph. If we want to mention, or if we want to write another idea, then we need to write the next paragraph. So it means it is a kind of a miniature essay. So what is a paragraph? Now you can understand it clearly. A paragraph is often defined as a group of related sentences in which one single main idea is developed. In a typical paragraph, the first sentence declares the main topic of the paragraph, and the rest of the sentences develop or support the main idea. A paragraph is most often a part of a longer composition comprising of several paragraphs. Now, if you find that a good paragraph should have certain characteristics. What are those characteristics? Unity, support, coherence, good language, variety of structures. So these are actually, you can say, devices or tools to develop a good paragraph. So to write an effective paragraph, you must understand that how can you bring unity and how can you maintain coherence in your paragraph. So first let's understand what is unity. Unity, you can say it is oneness of purpose, or unity can be defined as how the sentences that are contained in a paragraph hang together, right? So it means that obviously if you want to write one idea, that you should convey, or that you should write all the sentences related to that idea only. And if you want to write the next idea, then you should write the next paragraph. So all the supporting lines should provide complete support to develop only the main idea of the paragraph. And as I have mentioned you, that the main idea either we can write in either at the beginning of the paragraph or at the end of the paragraph. So if you want to change your idea, then write the next paragraph. And if we talk about coherence, that is the next tool or you can say next characteristic of an effective paragraph, that is coherence. So what is coherence? Coherence, you can say, it actually connects all the sentences. Coherence is that feature, or you can say that device which connects all the sentences, that makes the flow of sentences in a or you can say the sentences flow in a logical and progressive manner in a paragraph. So how the sentences we can make a good flow? How can we make a good flow in a paragraph? First let me show you. As I have already told you, unity, that is the one main idea, topic, sentence, and other sentences support. And if we talk about coherence, so the coherence can be maintained by using pronoun, repetition of some keywords, using connectors, and logical development of the idea. So actually, as you know, that coherence is that feature will help the reader, or which aids the reader to understand that easily, or to comprehend the paragraph easily, because it is expected from the writer that he writes only one single idea in a paragraph. And if the writer wants to write another idea, then obviously he will shift to the next paragraph, or he will write the next paragraph for this. So it helps the reader to understand the paragraph easily, because he knows that only the one single idea is written in one paragraph. So all the sentences are connected to each other, and so to bring coherence, you need to use certain devices, and these are pronouns, repetition of some keywords. So how can you use pronoun? So first you need to understand what is a pronoun. A pronoun is a word which is used in place of noun. Okay, it is a substitute of noun, and obviously it always serves as a reminder of noun used in earlier or previous sentences, right? Then if we talk about keywords, so keywords are actually you can say the important words of the paragraph, which helps to develop the main idea. So if you repeat these keywords, then obviously it brings coherence, and it makes connection between the sentences. But you need to be very careful when you use these keywords, because if you use these keywords a number of times, or you use many keywords, or you do lots of repetition, then obviously it makes your paragraph monotonous. So when you use repetition, or when you repeat any particular word, so you take so much, you need to take care, because too much of the repetition of the words can make the paragraph monotonous. So so to achieve coherence, that a writer need to show that how all the ideas contained in a paragraph are connected to each other. So all the sentences should be connected. And for making connection, we use one more device, for logical development of ideas. As I have already told you, that in a paragraph there should be a logical development of your ideas, logical progression of thoughts. And how can you make logical progression of thoughts? By using some kind of connectors. So what are those connectors? Connectors are, you can say, the words or phrases which are used at the beginning of a sentence, and which shows the connection between the new one and the preceding one, right? So like for example, but for using connectors and for using these phrases, or you can say these transitional phrases, you need to understand that how your ideas are related to each other. Like if you want to add similar ideas, then you might use also. If you want to add two ideas which are different from each other, then you can use however. But if you want to give some examples or illustrations, then you can use for example. So such kind of connectors you can use. So these are linkers. Like if you want to show your result, so you can use these phrases: as a result, because, hence, since, so. If you want to show something which is important, if you want to give this idea in your paragraph, then you can use these kind of phrases like at first, last, least, most important, next. If you want to add similar ideas, you can use all these phrases. If you want to use compare, if you want to compare, or if you want to add some kind of contrast in your ideas, then you can use although, but, however, instead, though. For time, you can use after, before, then, when, finally, etc. So all these phrases help you to develop your paragraph logically. These are again some more additional linkers. Above all, additionally, although, apart from, besides, spatially, even, for example, for instance, furthermore, further, fortunately, in contrast, in other words, in this case, in the same way, in spite of, more importantly, moreover, of course, on the contrary, on the other hand, surely, similarly, such, thus, whereas, etc. Now, what are the supporting sentences do? So obviously supporting sentences, they give detail, they give examples, they give evidences to logically develop your main idea. So like obviously supporting sentences, they do a promise that they will provide adequate support to develop the main idea. And if the evidence and examples that are not related to your main idea, so it means that this promise is not fulfilled. So to develop the main idea, all the evidences and all the examples, illustrations, statistics, facts and figures, whatever you are providing in your paragraph, that should be related to your idea. Like for example, if I say that Ram is a boy and Shyam provides vegetables to the shopkeeper. So obviously these two sentences are not related to each other. There is no connection between these two sentences. So obviously we cannot consider it as a paragraph. Obviously there should be grammatical accuracy. There should be correct punctuation in your paragraph, apt vocabulary and variety of structures. So we need to take care of language also. We should use such kind of words which are not ambiguous in your paragraph. Now the emphasis. So emphasis is one more device which we use in our paragraph to develop it. So emphasis actually makes our important ideas to stand out. So the following are the devices which we use to give proper emphasis to significant ideas in a paragraph. The first one is mechanical means of emphasis. So what does it mean, mechanical means of emphasis? Means that we use some sort of spatial fonts or spatial designs to highlight our key ideas or key words in the paragraph. So we can do this by using some other methods too, like we can write in capital letters whatever the important lines in the paragraph. We can use quotation, we can use italics, we can use boldface. So these are all other mechanical means of emphasis. Next one is emphasis on space. Emphasis on space means that how many lines we are devoting to a paragraph. So if we devote 3 to 4 lines to a paragraph, that means that paragraph is less important. It is, we are not discussing something very important in that paragraph. But if we give 10 to 12 lines, or if we devote 10 to 12 lines to a paragraph, so it means that we are discussing something important. Then emphasis on sentence structure. Sentence structure means that obviously the simple sentences or short sentences that always convey something important and they are very forceful. So if you want to write something important, you should always write in short sentences rather than long sentences, because long sentences are always vague and they become complex to understand. Then emphasis on position. Emphasis on position means that in a paragraph, when we want to write something important, we either write either in the beginning of the paragraph or at the end of the paragraph. So emphasis on position means that we write important key ideas either in the beginning or at the end of the paragraph. So these are the devices which I have mentioned to you, that how can you write an effective paragraph. Now let's understand that what are the methods that we can use to write a paragraph, and it depends upon our purpose. So we can order the topic sentence and the supporting sentences in 7 specific ways. And what are they? These are deductive, inductive, exposition, chronological, spatial, linear, and interrupted method. And these are all called methods of paragraph. So let's discuss all of them one by one. The first one is deductive method. So deductive method, what we do, our purpose to defend an idea. So when our purpose is to defend an idea by providing evidence, we write the paragraph in deductive method. The topic sentence comes at the beginning, it states a fact. The supporting sentences comes after it. The supporting sentences come after it and give evidence that the fact is true. So obviously it means that we move from general statement to particular statements. First we give or you can say we write general statement and then we give some particular examples in deductive method. Like for example, we can say that man is mortal. So man is mortal, that is our you can say main idea that I want to prove. This is my idea and I want to prove. So now I need to state some facts to prove that man is mortal. So I can quote some examples like Ram dies, Mohan dies, and they are all human beings. Okay, so that we can say that man is mortal. So obviously I have mentioned the topic sentence in the beginning, at the beginning of the paragraph, and then I am after that mentioning the facts. Okay, that my fact what I have mentioned is true. And so we move from general statement to particular statement in deductive method. So let's see an example. This is an example of deductive method. Mental depression is a dangerous symptom. First, it can affect anyone, be he an adult or a child. This is because of cutthroat competition in every area of life. Second, depression has no physical indication this makes it hard to detect. Third, people have the false idea that depression means madness. Clearly, depression is a deadly disease and is hard to treat. Now next is inductive method. So our purpose is to make an inference, to draw a conclusion. So when we put together clues to reach a conclusion, we make an inference. While we make an inference, we use inductive method of paragraph writing. The topic sentence comes at the last as a conclusion. The supporting sentences come at the beginning as clues that lead to the conclusion. So in inductive method, what happens? We write the topic sentence at the end of the paragraph. So we move from particular statements to general statement. The early example which I have quoted in deductive method, we can take the same example here. For example, Ram dies, Mohan dies, and they are all human beings. Hence, we can say that man is mortal. So in this example, I have mentioned the general statement at the end of the paragraph. So this is actually inductive method. But first you need to understand that where we use inductive method and where we use deductive method. Actually in deductive method, whatever the conclusion we draw when we write a general statement, it always comes true, because the statement which we use, that has always been proven. Like we use some kind of principles or theorems or the laws which have already been proved by someone, right? So obviously we always get a conclusion which is always true. But if we talk about inductive method, the conclusion may be true or may not be true. It depends upon the evidence what we are providing or the particulars which we are giving in the paragraph. Like in this case, I am reading out this example for you. Aryan reached late in office today. He comes to office by public transport. He always starts early from his home to avoid traffic. Therefore, the bus he took today must have had a breakdown. So what the conclusion you have now? This conclusion may be true or may not be true, because obviously the bus may not have any kind of breakdown. Okay, so that's the conclusion which we have drawn in this paragraph, inductive method, by using inductive method. So this is the topic sentence which comes at the end of the paragraph. Now what is expository method? Expository method basically we use to explain any you can say complex topic, or the topic which explain in detail. So the example of your textbook, right? Okay, this is an example of expository method, or any kind of, you can take the examples of Wikipedia articles, any research articles or newspaper articles, that are all examples of expository method. In expository method we use definitions, principles, we give lots of particulars and statistics to explain in detail. We use comparison and contrast method too. So we use so many things in expository method. So now you can see this is an example of expository method. Mirzapur is a crime-based TV series released in 2018 on Amazon Prime. It revolves around drugs, guns and lawlessness. It depicts the rule of mafia dons and gang rivalry in the Purvanchal region of Uttar Pradesh. Its season 1 consists of 9 episodes in total. In comparison with Sacred Games, it has scored more popularity among the viewers. Now this is the next method, which is chronological method. Again, the chronological method, it means chronological method, what we do, we actually document according to the time or happening of the event. So this is a natural order of narration in which one event leads to another event. So date is important here because we document time of any action, right? So time is an important factor in this. So if we talk about chronological method, this is a good method of narration, how you narrate the story, like what happened next and then what happened next. So you narrate according to the happening of the event. Like going to halls for watching movies has become redundant nowadays. In the 90s, people went to movie halls to watch movies only. Those were the times of television and VCRs. By the 2000s, people started having their personal computers. So movies were watched in DVDs. Now with the advent of Android phone and 4G connectivity, people can watch movies right in their mobile. So if we see in this example, you can see that the first sentence, going to halls for watching movies has become redundant nowadays, that how going halls is becoming unnecessary or it is not required anymore. So we are explaining this, that how it happened, you know, with time. So this is actually chronological method. Now spatial method. So obviously spatial method is actually related to space. So if you want to define clearly about the position of things in a place, okay, if you want to, and so you need to write a paragraph in such a way that the reader can easily visualize the position of the things in particular in that layout or space. So spatial method is related to space. So if a technocrat or engineer wants to describe the parts of a machine or specification of a machine, then he uses this method, that is called spatial method. So if we talk about spatial method, the writer will describe what he sees, or he may start from anywhere, from top to bottom, from left to right, from you can say outside to inside. So obviously it helps the reader to visualize the things in that particular place, right? So he would like to, so if you want to describe the parts of a machine, you need to organize your paragraph spatially in a spatial method, that is in order of space or the place, how the things have been placed in that particular area. So when we have to give an exact description of a place so that the people can have clear idea where things are kept, we use spatial method. So in this method, what we do, we write first topic sentence, and in this topic sentence, the name of the place which we are going to describe or the is mentioned in the first line. So that is the topic sentence. So I am going to describe here like PSIT, about PSIT college. So this is my topic sentence, and I mentioned the name of the institute in at the beginning of the paragraph, and this is the first line. So PSIT is located on the Delhi Agra Express Highway. On entering the gate, you will find a road that leads to two opposite sides. Follow the left hand side and you will come across PSIT block, pharmacy block, and finally the boys hostel. Follow the right hand side road, you will come across the PSIT COE block and the girls hostel. Now come to the next method. This is called linear method. So you need to understand that where we use linear method. Linear method is also called one dimensional because in this method one sentence leads to the next one, and this is the logical progression of thoughts, and we use it when we want to write how to operate a machine in manuals, or you can say lab manuals or manuals. So you cannot skip any step. If you skip any step, then obviously what would happen, the user would never be able to operate that machine. So you need to be very careful when you write a step-by-step process. So you need to write every step starting from the beginning till end. And so this, because obviously you need to write it very logically, because one sentence leads to the next one. Okay, so it should be very logical. So like I have quoted one example here, how to install a program. So let's see how I have written this paragraph. Uninstalling a program needs a few simple steps. First, go to the start menu, then go to control panel. Next, click uninstall a program, then select the program you want to remove. Finally, click uninstall at the top of the page. So if you skip any step, like if you forget to write next, click uninstall a program, then you will never be able to understand how to install a program. Now, interrupted method. So interrupted method is just like a chronological method, but we actually break the strict chronology in this in order to give a dramatic turn or a dramatic turn to the events, right? So we use interrupted method. So to sound more dramatic and interesting, we break this strict chronology. In this method, we use first past, we mention some kind of past events, then present, then future, then again present, like some of the movies you have watched such kind of things, and at the end they bring all the things together. So like for example, in this, if you you can see in this example, I'm a fan of movies of superheroes from Bahubali to Spider-Man. I love them all. When I was a child, I had a huge obsession for Shaktiman. I even tried jumping off a terrace but was luckily saved. Now I just use jackets and t-shirts to show my obsession. Someday I dream of creating a superhero series on TV myself. So if you see in this paragraph, you can see that first I start from the present tense, that what I am fan of superheroes, I love them all. Then I went to past, right? When I was child, then I had a huge obsession for Shaktiman. What I even tried jumping off a terrace, but luckily saved. Now I'm again come to present. Okay, now I just use jackets and t-shirts to show my obsession. Then future. Someday I dream of creating a superhero series on TV myself. So here I break my strict chronology. So the flow of thoughts, there's an interruption in the flow of thoughts. So that is why it is called interrupted method. So this is one exercise which we are going to do now. You need to rearrange the sentence. First, you need to find out that what is the topic sentence, and then what should be the next one, and the next one, and finally the last line. So let's see how can you rearrange this paragraph, because obviously in a paragraph you know that you need to be very logical and there should be continuous progression of thoughts. There should be logical progression of thoughts. One sentence should lead to the next one. So there should be connection between the sentences, and all the supporting sentences, right, should develop the main paragraph only or main idea only. So let's rearrange all these sentences. It contains, of course, the meaning of difficult words. So first you need to find out what is it here. So one of the most important reference tools that you must possess is a dictionary. So if obviously you can see that we are talking about a dictionary and its advantages. So first one advantage, then second advantage, then which should be the third one, and what should be the final line. So let's see the third line. It also gives you the pronunciation of the words. You do possess one, perhaps, but I doubt whether you are aware of the different kinds of information it contains. The dictionary can be referred to for various grammatical forms of the words. Every college dictionary should provide at least these 4 kinds of information about words, namely pronunciation, meaning, grammatical patterns, and usage. Finally, a good dictionary contains illustrative sentences or phrases showing how words are actually used. So if we see this paragraph, or you can say if we see these sentences, then first what should be the first important line? That is talking about dictionary, right? So it means that one of the most important reference tools that you must possess is a dictionary. So this is the topic sentence, and it contains, of course, the meaning of difficult words. It also gives you the pronunciation of the words. So obviously then we need to mention what are the advantages, and then what should be the final line. So let me show you the answer of this question. So the topic sentence, this is your topic sentence, that one of the most important reference tools that you must possess is a dictionary. This is your topic sentence. Then after that come the next line. You do possess one, perhaps, but I doubt whether you are aware of different kinds of information it contains. So it means now it is telling that if you have, then you must know that what are the advantages to keep a dictionary with you. So it contains, of course, the meaning of difficult words. This is the first advantage. It also means, it comes the next one, also gives you the pronunciation of the words. Then this is the third advantage. The dictionary can be referred to for the various grammatical forms of the words. Finally, this is the last final advantage of the dictionary, that a good dictionary contains illustrative sentences or phrases showing how words are actually used. So now what should happen? That every college dictionary should provide at least these 4 kinds of information, means all these 4 kinds of advantages which a dictionary have. They all colleges should have this a dictionary. About what are those advantages? About words, namely pronunciation, meaning, grammatical patterns, and usage. So these are the reference books which you can use to go through the subject soft skills, to go through the topics which are actually included in your book, that is soft skills. Now I hope that the topic is clear to all of you today, what we have covered. The first thing which I told you about paragraph, that a paragraph is a collection of sentences, and one paragraph conveys only one single idea. That idea we can write either at the beginning of the paragraph or at the end of the paragraph. The other sentences are called supporting sentences because they provide support to develop the main idea that you need to understand. And what are the main devices, or what are the main tools to develop a paragraph? That is unity, support, coherence, good language, variety of structures, right? So if we talk about unity, that I have already told you that unity, it means one main idea. So unity means that oneness of purpose. You should develop only the idea in one paragraph, and if you want to write another idea, then you should shift to the next paragraph, or you should write next paragraph. All the sentences should develop your main idea. And how can you bring coherence? These are the devices: pronouns, repetition of some keywords, connectors, and you need to develop it logically by putting right emphasis at the right place, by using proper punctuation. So all these things, all these devices you need to use to write a good paragraph. Thank you for watching, and that's all for today.